Today we saw some aggressive selling across the board. What's in store for the markets? But before we get into that, there's the closing bell, guys. With the S&P's down 58 points, it's doing slightly better when you compare it to some of our under indices. Taking a look at the Nasdaq, it's down 3%. The Russell just flipped over to 2.94%. It was down a little bit more. And we have the Dow that's down 0.4%, hanging in there. But there's only 30 stocks in the Dow, for crying out loud. So I'm going to start today with the SPX, and we take a look at the expected move. We expected 74 points this week. 74 up would have taken us to 4,017, and 74 down would have taken us to 3,868. We are now negative on the week, as you can see in this candle. At 39.15, it looked like the 3,900 level held up. However, the selling presumes in tomorrow's tape, 38.68, call it 38.70, should play some sound support, at least for this week. Now, when we take a look across the board, we take a look at these futures in the S&P. Volume is up ticking. I want to look at this on an intraday. You can see right around 3 o'clock in the morning, things started to turn, and we just couldn't get going, ultimately selling off into power hour. It just wasn't a great day if you're in equities. Now, taking a look at the Nasdaq, it was down over 3%. Some volume picking up. How much lower can this Nasdaq fall this week? Well, we throw it on an expected move, and we zoom out. We take a look at this thing. You can see we got rejected at the upper edge 3 days in a row, and we ultimately turned over. The lower edge in the Nasdaq this week is sitting at 12,572, meaning we could potentially still fall another 200 points in tomorrow's tape, so you guys better buckle up. As for the Russell 2000, the Russell 2000 has breached the lower edge, and that level is at 2,286, which tells me here in the Russell, I think the selling is done, at least in the small caps. Just taking a look at it. Outside of that, volume is and as for the Dow is just down 0.34%, but there's just 30 stocks, such a small sample size. So we see selling across the board today. What's going on in our sectors? And taking a look at the financials, there are only sector in the green, up 0.5% today. However, we're seeing a wick. Financials have turned it around and the volume is amplifying. Just taking a look at that intraday reversal, financials turned it around pretty sharp and tanked a lot. As for the industrials, we can see industrials down 0.12, healthcare down 0.2, we see consumer staples down 0.4, technology, however, down 2.77, and then we have our big five. That's Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, Google, Facebook. These guys are down 3.2, so you can see it's doing a little bit worse than the overall tech space, as well as the software stocks down 3.5%. This definitely ripped open the Russell. Even the XLE down 4.5%, which will come back to the XLE in a bit. But that's some intensified selling out of these growth stock names. With the growth stocks getting hurt, we would assume that the bonds are seeing a nice boost in today's tape. And taking a look at these bonds, they're down 0.64%. You know what that means. When bond price drops, bond yields rises. And that's what's hurting a lot of these growth names. With yield on the rise, that's why the financials are only a green sector today. However, when we take a closer look at this thing, you can see it opened up right around 3 o'clock, right when our indices sold off. You can see bonds fell, yield rose, and that really opened up the Nasdaq. You can see we're trying to get things going here. As for the TNX, we take a look at the TNX, and we broke over 1.7% yield. I want to throw this on a weekly and just take a look at this rip higher. There's hardly any red candles on a weekly, and you can see we're breaking this 1.7. Are we going to be at 2% before you know it? And if we do, you better buckle up in these growth name stocks, because they are going to get hammered as investors chase value stocks. Now, I want to point out the Volatility Index. So we take a look at the VIX futures, and the VIX futures today are up about 5%. It was about time. When we take a look at the VIX here, the VIX had gotten below 19. You can just see right here, put the VIX here. The VIX got to 1895 in today's tape, and it definitely saw a nice bounce. As for the VVIX, we take a look at the VVIX. It's up 7.25%. We look how it traded into the bell. Well, it saw a nice boost. However, it's selling off a bit. That's a slight positive sign. However, this is the VVIX. Volatility can quickly turn. However, it is good to see it come down into the close, but my guess is that the Nasdaq still has some room to fall. I think there could be some more selling in tomorrow's tape. So it's a bloodbath today in the equities, and we see even the bonds are selling off with the equities. What's that mean for a dollar index? Taking a look at the dollar index, it's up 44 basis points, probably due to the rising yield. We can see the dollar is just kind of hovering this 91 to 92 range for the most part. What's that going to do for our commodities? Well, we take a look at crude oil, and crude oil today just dumped. See the size and volume, see this nice candle down. Over an 8% drop here today in crude oil, and that opened up the XLE as profit takers just rushed to the exits. Just taking a look at this on the day, it trended down all throughout the day. I'm reading it could be due to the rising COVID cases in Europe. I don't know if you ask me. But what about gold? We take a look at the gold futures, and gold's up 38 basis points, $6, sitting at $17.33. Yeah, nothing going on here in the metals. As for Bitcoin, it's down 0.66%. It got a nice surge, gave it some of it back due to the market selling off. You see these futures bouncing back a bit right now. Bitcoin, we can see it got a nice ramp up over 60K and quickly came back down. It's a volatile asset, so expect these wild swings, but you just look in the overall trajectory, it's going higher. It makes dips and it goes higher, dips and it goes higher. Consolidation here is key in Bitcoin, and I plan on getting a new Bitcoin video update in the coming days, possibly Saturday. I'll get that out for you guys. There you have it for the stock market breakdown. So we saw rising bond yields, and that opened up the growth names, so which hurt the Nasdaq, which in turn hurt the S&P 500. Now we're negative on the week in the SPX. If the selling wants to presume tomorrow, look for 38.68 to place strong support. I don't think we're going to see that. Seeing in the Russell 2000 has breached the lower edge. I think we see a nice bounce in tomorrow's session, at least in the small caps. As for the tech names, tech could still sell off. However, we could see a rebound in XLE, XLF, maybe the industrials, healthcare could get a little bounce back, and maybe even software stocks possibly could get a nice boost for the Russell 2000. Other than that, today was a horrible session. It's down large, but you got to ask yourself, is the Fed going to let this market tank like it did a year ago? I think it would take a black swan event for that to happen again, especially how much capital we have printed in the last year. I don't think stocks are going to fall. However, when you have days like today, it's a great time to buy some good quality names. Expand your portfolio. But if you ask me, I would say just go all in Bitcoin. Jokes aside, guys, any comments, questions, feedback for me, leave it down below. I'd love to hear when you guys comment. If you enjoyed the video, hit the thumbs up button. It means a lot when you guys show some support. And I do these breakdowns every single day. Show some love and hit that sub button. It will really make my day. But other than that, guys, I will see you in tomorrow's breakdown video. Have a great night, guys. Take care. Peace!